Hello and welcome to my channel. Now I'm gonna be uh, talking about this headlamp that I got in, the Wurkkos HD50. So those of you that want to get into that particular review, I'll give the timestamp, for going forward to that. But before I wanted to talk about that, I wanted to get into headlamps in general and the price range you can go for them and what they do and the advantages and disadvantages. So for those of you that are impatient, like I said, look at the description and I'll try to put a timestamp down there, or I'll put it in the comments, and you can just jump right to that one. But what I'd like to say is you can get a headlamp, a cheap one. This is as cheap as you can get it. This is a dollar store one. It doesn't come with batteries. Like I said, it's as cheap as it gets. But it offers you, you know, a, a high beam or whatever. It's just a cob, so there's no focusing on it. It's just a low beam, and then for some reason a strobe. I don't know why. No red light or anything else, but I mean, this is as cheap as you can get. All you'd have to come up with is two, I think it's AAA batteries or AA batteries. Let me find out. 3 AAAs. And you got to be careful when you only pay $1.25 for stuff, how you open and close it, but it seems to be all right. So you get what you pay for, basically. Now, a step up from that would be, this is a night core. It runs about 20 bucks. This is a little bit better, because it's like a shock cord. You could probably use it on some even bigger lights and stuff. It doesn't distribute the weight as much as one of these, but also for hot days and stuff, it doesn't make you sweat as much. Again, it's a plastic housing, kind of similar to that one over there, but I think you pry up on that. A little bit easier to get to. One battery, I've got a rechargeable 1.5 volt in there, but it'll take a AA or whatever. And again, you have a spotlight and a red light. Now the red light, will just flash. It won't change any brightness or anything like that, but it will put in like a beacon, which is good. And then to get to moonlight, you have to double click. No. You have to, let me get into strobes and stuff. Hold both of them together. Or that lock out? Yeah. That's the problem with trying to learn different interfaces and stuff. This one, it has a moonlight mode and everything. I'm not going to go through all the different... Turn off. Turn yourself off. Stop strobing. I just wanted to get, I like this one. It's pretty good. It's pretty basic. But it has its limitations. It's not completely waterproof or water resistant or anything like that. Now, a little step up is the Through Night Junior. Of course, it only has one LED. It doesn't have a red light, but it tries to do a little combination there. Just giving you kind of a universal overall beam. And, you got a turbo also if you need it. Everything. Now this one takes a micro USB instead of a USB-C, but other than that, it comes with a headband and everything. This is very useful. This weight, just like the Olight Parent 2 Mini, it has a red light also. The red lights are really more just like a couple of auxiliary lights that gives you kind of like a universal kind of flood type of beam. And this has a TIR optic, so it's going to be more of a focused spot like that. These are very comfortable to wear on your head. You hardly even know that you've got them on there. When you start going up to the 18650 size, this is like a Sofern SP40A. This one's more of a spot, type of pattern. But it comes with a short tube that you can put an 18350 in there, and you basically get, the equivalent to this. It's all on what you're going to need it for and what you're going to use it for. Now, this is an 650 right angle light also, but they make two different versions. This is a 15R because it has a red light in it. And it gets all in little funky strobes, and to change between red and whatever, you can just do 3 clicks, and that switches. You can get red and white, and then you can double click and get turbo. Not bad, but when you're wearing it on a headlamp like this is off to one side, so it gets kind of awkward. You feel these a little bit more, of course, than these. Now, this is a good overall compromise right here. It's inexpensive. This is the Sopran D25R or something like that, but this one I think came from Outdoor 77, but it's just basically, you unscrew one side for your charge port. Oh, no, that's not it. Over here with the switch is where you have your charge port. This thing only weighs like 3 ounces or something like that. I'll take a picture of it. What I don't like, now we'll talk about, now we're getting up to 21700 size battery. Alright, so the other ones have a capability to put a top strap on them, but you don't really need them. On this one, you're going to need it, and you need to adjust. I don't have a huge head, but I have to adjust it all the way out like this to get it right, because if it's too short up here, then it just feels funky. You want to distribute the weight with it. I've been wearing this for most of the day. I've already did a little Beamshot thing with it just indoors. I'm not going to go outdoors yet with it. It's pretty cold and wet out there. But this is just an initial review. I like this flashlight. However, one thing that they don't mention, see, 3.5 ounces without a battery, or 100 grams. And nowhere do they list how much it is. Well, it's 7.45 ounces with the battery that they supply. Who runs around with a headlamp on without a battery in it? No one. So why give us that weight? Who cares? 100 grams without the battery. Well, you know what? It's 211 with the battery. Now, yeah, it can vary depending on the battery, but how about what the battery you supply with these, or your own, a typical Wurkkos or Sopran battery. So that's my only gripe about that. Because if you're looking at this flashlight and you're thinking, 21700 is a bigger size battery, will it weigh any more? And you look at it and you say, 3.5 ounces, that's not bad. That's without the battery. Well, so include that in there. I know it's a mini gripe, but still, that's one thing that you won't get on a lot of that, is they don't tell you. And then it's important to know that this is kind of, you can feel it. 7 ounces, All right. $110 to your clip to your forehead. All right. That's about what you got going on right here. So if you think $110 is heavy, then this on your head, actually with the weight distributed and everything. Now, it also, like I said, it depends on what you're going to do. If you're just going to be pittering around the house and everything, you can just get a small one or put a small tube on a flashlight. Having a headlamp a hands-free headlamp really comes in handy. I think, like, as human beings, if we could evolve to where our third eye, you just push both your ears, together or whatever, and the light comes on in your head and you have a light, oh man, that'd be cool. But, if it was biologically powered, then you'd run your battery down, or you run yourself down because you turned your battery on by accident or something. I don't know. Anyway, it's very useful to just reach up and touch your forehead and you've got a light shining down in front of you, hands free. You can do whatever you want to do. You pick up stuff, you walk. It helps with finding things. A lot of times you just swivel your head, and the light follows the pattern. Now, yeah, you can clip a smaller flashlight with a reversible clip on a hat brim, but you got to have a hat brim on. You got to be wearing a hat all the time. And with these, with a hat brim, the brim kind of gets in the way with shining straight down. So you have to move it up a lot more. Now, this one, the adjustments are just these rubber straps right here. And it holds it pretty, good with friction and everything. But again, especially if you would be running, I'm not going to be doing a lot of jogging and everything, but the bigger, yeah, you've got longer run times and everything, but the more weight you've got up there, the more you're going to feel it. So you got a spotlight of 1 lumen, a flood of 1 lumen. You can combine the two, and you got 2 lumens, or the red light at half a lumen. And these are the different turbo, and there's your 4,000 when you do spot and flood. Floodlight will give you 1,000 in turbo. This one will give you 3,000. I haven't run these. I just got it, so I can't tell you about run times and everything else. Everybody else is, a lot of other people that have done that. But look at how many hours you can get. Now, I found the low mode on these is very useful. The mid is more like what I would probably run these at if I was just like walking around. But it's nice to have these other, capabilities if you need them. But just think, how long are you going to be out? And how long are you going to need light? You can carry another battery with you, but still, the more capacity you're carrying on your head, the more weight you're carrying on the head. And it may add up, especially like running. But then, again, you wouldn't want a small little light like this with no backup if you're in a cave. If you go in a cave and you're going to go cave exploring for a long ways, or you're going to go for a long time. It depends on what you need. Like I was watching one video where a guy was in like Sweden or something like that, and he was it's cold and dark up there a lot, and they were using sled dogs and stuff. Well, if you're going fast, you're going to need more like car headlights. You're going to need more like spotlight. Reach out there further, because you want to see what's coming up ahead. But if you're walking, you don't need that quite as much, But the same thing, if you're on skis, you want a spotlight, to reach out for. I like all the features on this light, but I think they would really have a knockout flashlight if they just downsized it a little bit to 18650. Because then you're not going to have that as much of an issue, with weight. I think this one right here is almost perfect, but its way it turns up and down is this ratcheting, which is a little bit more precise than this is. Kind of friction, got to move it. Both these little lights are come on too, and then you got the different one. It'll do the modes, like I said. It'll do both, and then you can hold it to go through the different light levels, and then quick turn. Maybe that you can't turn this one off with this one. Yeah, I guess you still need this. I was thinking earlier, you don't even need this. You could just use this. But this is like your power switch and your light switch. So it'll remember which one you're on or what you did, like it'll come back with that. And then to get moonlight, you just press and hold, and it'll come in moonlight of whatever you had. And then it'll switch over. So if you had moonlight on this one, and you think, all right, I'm going to go over here, and I want to go, I want to have this one as bright, and I want this one as low. Well, you can't really do that. See, if you set this one to low, when you go from, like, what I'm trying to say is if you go high on this one, when you switch over, it's going to go high on that one. If you're on low, it's going to switch over to low of the other one. If you want moonlight, you got to press and hold, and it'll come in moonlight, and then you can mode over to moonlight of, each one or both, or back to moonlight, and then just press again to off, quick press or press and hold, and you got to press and hold a cycle. And that's where it gets me, because sometimes I think press and hold, turn it off. It's not too hard, like I said. You can turn it on and off with either one of the switches, but this one over here does all your little switching lenses. It'll, again, like I said, it'll up and down by holding it. It'll go through the power levels, but it won't turn off from here. You gotta turn this one to turn it off. So, there you go. That's just a little quickie overview of this flashlight, headlamp, or whatever, and I'll link other places that do beam shots outdoors and stuff, like in jungles and stuff like that, because I'm in an apartment, and I've already rambled on too long as it is. But yeah, flashlights can be another rabbit hole you can go down, and so can headlamps. When I ordered this one, why do I need this? One's working perfectly fine. This one's working fine. These other ones are fine. Why do I need this? Well, I'm glad I got it, because it has all these, we go for features sometimes. Yeah, did I need it? No, but I got this one on sale for like $41, and normally they're like $60 or something. So there was that involved also. But I've blown all my money on knives and flashlights for the month, and I've just got to calm down and play with the toys that I've got. But anyway, yeah, there you go. There's your little instruction manual. Let me just set this back in a holder and go through that while I won't read everything to you, but I'll have it up here in case you lose your manual or you're wondering. 2 amp port there. 0.45 pounds with the battery. There's your different emitters, your operating voltage. Spotlight has 15 degrees, floodlight 76. It's perfect, man. Like there's a ring, and then when you turn it off, it disappears, because that was the spotlight in the middle, and on the outside, it's great. I really like that. There's your dimensions and your reflectors, and sorry about that glare. It does have temperature regulation, but it lets it get up to 60 C. That's pretty hot. That's pretty hot. That's getting pretty warm. I haven't run it in turbo very long, but man, does it kick out the light. There's your power indicator, giving you, it's not Enduro or anything like that. Tells you how to, so there's, spotlight, gives you all your parameters and everything. There are 2 side switches. The right switch controls the flashlight on off. The left switch controls the mode changes. Besides, both of them could control the brightness of the mode. When the flashlight is off, single click power mode to turn the flashlight on. Mode memory, long press switch button, mode memory to activate moonlight. Single click mode to switch cycles, through all that stuff that we've gone through already. It's got a lockout, I didn't mention. From off, press and hold both the modes, switches together. The red light will flash twice. Single click one of the switches to enter the red light moon will shut off when you unpress the switch. Another press the power switch and the mode switch simultaneously to deactivate the lockout. So, yeah, I think it's pretty good. I like it. Initially when I'm wearing it on my head, I'm running around with it, playing around with it in the apartment. And I like the beams. I like, that's kind of important. And the weight is not super bad. It's like, so I've got a buck 110 stapled to my forehead. It's not that bad. You get used to it. Sometimes I barely notice it, but yeah, it is noticeable compared when you move your head up and down. You can feel that weight, you know. Whereas the other ones, it's not quite as noticeable, especially 18650 or the smaller one. So there you go. I've reached my limit. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day. All right, there's a background light, you know, but just to give you an idea of the beams, let me adjust this up. That's the spotlight on low, and then this button on the right just turns it off and on, or does the power. So spotlight on low, medium, high, and turbo. That's just the spotlight. All right, this is just up close. All right, if you press and hold, you'll get the 1 lumen moonlight mode. And see, on a spotlight, see that light behind me kicked in. It's one of those sensor lights. But with the spotlight, you can do pretty good. Now the other button on the right really does everything. I think you could have just gotten away with just having this as a 1-button light. But anyways, it's the mode change. So we're on moonlight right now. If I hit the button again, now it's going to go to flood. You see how that center disappeared, but the outer ring increased? I mean, it's kind of perfect for a flood. We're doing it on the moonlight, you know, so this is not easy to see, and this light behind me keeps kicking. I'm waiting for it to kick out. All right, then the next one is red. No, it's a combination of moonlight and, I mean, this combination of floodlight and spotlight both together. And then the next click is just the red light. All right, that's in moonlight. All right, so you see it doesn't, you know, carry real far. Then we bump up. Oh, sorry. It remembers what you had at last set. So that's the low. Sorry. It's kind of hard to remember this interface. Low, medium, high, turbo, and red. Right. Turn it off. Oh. All right, now let me switch it to floodlight. Sorry. All right, that's floodlight on low. I mean, spotlight on low. Gotta hold it. Medium, high, turbo. All right. So we go back to low. Now we'll switch the mode to, this is floodlight in low, medium, and high, and then turbo. All right, let's go back to low. Now the next mode is going to be flood and spot combined together. So we got low. This is where you get your 4,000 lumens. Sorry, low, medium, and yeah, and this is just in here. You know, I'm just showing. I'll do it again and somewhere else. High, and then there's your turbo. Really lighting the area up. All right.